Welcome everyone to another one here on the Mateo Franco DC channel. I'm also going to post this on the Disrupted podcast. You can find that on Spotify. It's called Disrupted by Mateo Franco. You'll find it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you have other platforms that you'd like to see it on, let me know in the comments or the feedback section, wherever that is, whatever platform we're on. And so with that, we're going to dive into today's video. I'm super excited for this. It's one of my favorite ones. I'm going to continue to share this message. You'll see this one recurring over and over and over again. It's going to be about our health, why people continue to stay sick, why that pattern is in families, why we see that in our country, why we see that over and over again. So if you're not happy with your health, if you feel stuck, you've hit a plateau, you're not happy with where you're at with your quality of life, this is going to be a great podcast for you. If there's someone that you're thinking of that would benefit from this too, this is going to be a great video to share or send to them. So we're going to dive into that. We'll hit a couple of key topics. Big one's going to be responsibility. For our health is being responsible for it. It's much easier to blame other things, hereditary, genetics. This is just the way I am. One of the things I hear people use a lot, self-included, and these are all things that I've experienced myself, so that's where I speak from it. And then also spending 6 years in practice now, seeing hundreds of thousands of patients. We have all the data on this, and what I committed to our patients from the feedback from our patients is to start sharing this with people. And we're going to work on the content side of it, where I can actually show you images of people experiencing different symptoms, how they actually heal, and what that process looks like. And then we'll get them on here with their specific video testimonials. So you're not just hearing it from me, you're hearing it from them. Responsibility is a big one. Is that people will say things like my allergies, my acid reflux, my headaches. And it's one of those, words are very important, but we create ownership of those and we wrap our identity in these sicknesses or diseases. So we'll dive into that a little bit, but I really want to go into responsibility. We're going to go over what health is, right? Defining our goals. What is the metric of health? How do you know if you're healthy or not, right? We'll go into the hereditary factor of that. And then we'll go into some solutions that you can actually look at for you and your family if you want to change your health, if you want to change your lifestyle, change your quality of life, and live the life that you desire. And that's really, for our practice, Life Without Fear Chiropractic, here in Lexington, Kentucky, that is our goal, right? Our top value for our company, our practice, is freedom, right? And when you don't have your health, you do not have freedom. How do we know that? We see it over and over again. I've seen it in my family. That's how I got into chiropractic, right? So we'll dive into all of that. First one that I want to start with is defining health. You'll hear me say this over and over and over again. I can't emphasize how important this is. If you're setting financial goals, if you're setting relationship goals, if you're doing those things and you don't have terms or definitions, then how do you keep moving the target, right? You're never going to hit the target. Keep wandering in vicious cycles. So for us, we need a definition that works. And so the definition of health, and this is where I see most people fall into a trap, is they base their health 100% based off how they feel. And this is a problem. You can take drugs, you can mask it with drugs, substance, all these different things. You can mask the problem, but eventually that bill's coming due, right? The easiest it is to fix is today, right? The longer you mask those problems or don't deal with them, and we'll talk into responsibility, right? And this is what medications basically are, is us not taking responsibility for our health. I understand there's certain emergencies, and sometimes they're a placeholder as we're looking for things. But I'm talking about when we know we have a health problem, we don't take responsibility for our health, and then we constantly mask it, right? Which is what medications are. We're placing the responsibility on the medication. So it's deficiency in medication. That's what it is, right? We're deficient in painkillers. That's why we have pain. No, that doesn't make sense. It's a broken model, right? If that were true, then we could all start on painkillers from day one of life. We never experience pain, and we'd be the healthiest country, healthiest world, right? Or planet. And so with that, let's define health. Health is the body's ability to adapt. Highlight that word, adapt. Health is not static. You don't have it one day and it goes the next way. It's adaptive. Health is the body's ability to adapt to physical, chemical, and emotional stress. And it's the body's ability to recognize itself from the environment. That covers immunity, right? The healthiest people on the planet are typically kiddos. We see them all the time, right? They have the flexibility of, I don't know what super flexible animal, but super flexible. They can put their foot behind their head, right? They don't have a lot of stress. They're always full of energy. Why is that, right? It's because they can adapt to physical, chemical, and emotional stress the best, right? The reason for that is they don't have things like work. They're not being static all day like I'm currently being now, right? They're not being static all day. They're out running around. They're being mobile. They're being adaptive, right? They're trying new foods. They're doing different things. Their body is adaptive, and they don't have the stress of bills and all those things. Yes. So it's the body's ability to adapt to physical, chemical, and emotional stress, and the body's ability to recognize itself from the environment. when you're getting health advice, it's important filter or funnel, however you want to word it, to look through. If you're getting health advice from someone, if they can't define health, you should probably consider like what type of advice you're getting, right? If you go to mechanics, if you go to financial advisors, if you go to experts, or I say experts loosely, when you go to specialists in their area, right, and they can't tell you what they do and how they help you achieve your goal, right, that's a problem. If they're in the healthcare industry, right, I see these hospitals that say health on it, and I was like, when do you go to the hospital? When you're healthy? No, you go there when you're sick. I was like, the terminology is wrong. It's great emergency care, 1,000%, right? Thank God for that. If we have an emergency, then we're very grateful for that. But it's not healthcare, right? It's sick care. You go there when you're sick. You don't go there to continue to pursue health. And so for us, defining that's vitally important, and then being responsible for our health. This is vitally important. We are responsible for our health. If we can write that down, if we can understand that, we are responsible for our health. Right? And I'm going to go into hereditary. I'm going to go into epigenetics. If you want to study it yourself, if you want to verify the data, all of that, just buy the book. It's called Wisdom of Your Cells by Bruce Lipton. Right? It will cover everything I'm about to say. And so with hereditary, data research is showing that approximately 5% is based off of things that are outside of our control. 5 means the other 95% are within our control. We can change literally our genetics, our genes, right? How do you change that? Things that we eat, put in our body, the things that we put on our body. Our thoughts are changing our DNA. That's probably the most powerful one. Your thoughts, people that believe they're going to be sick, people that are looking for problems, right? If you ever met someone that's just a downer, that's always looking for problems in the day, this is why today sucks, this is why tomorrow's going to suck, this is why the next year is going to suck, right? And they're always what? Lack of responsibility. And they're doing those things, right? And what do they continue to have in their life? Problems. Why is that? Right? There's something to our thoughts, our beliefs, the focus that we hold on things in our life. So that's a big one. And so responsibility, hereditary, they're within our control, right? And when people say, oh, it runs in the family, that's not true. It's not. And I just disbelieve that. It's a lifestyle of choices. You typically make the same health choices, similar health choices, or you have a similar lifestyle to that of your parents or the people before you, right? There are certain things, that's where that 5% is, that truly are. And that's what it is. We don't understand it. And that's okay too. The body is very fascinating. It's held together 37.2 trillion cells approximately, right? That's pretty amazing. A pretty intelligent body, that's amazing. We should probably work with that intelligence versus against it. And so we have choice in this. And that's the point I'm driving home with this before I really dive into this. So we have choice in our health. When I see people come into the practice, I'm going to share a story here real quick, and then I'm going to kind of structure this out a little bit. But when I see people coming into the practice, I was having a conversation with a lady that came in. We always set goals, and it always comes back to, yes, we understand that people are in our practice because they want to solve a problem. And typically that problem is how they feel. But here's the thing. Everywhere else that they've been besides our practice, I always ask this question, it depends on the person. Most people get this, but some people don't, right? If you've gone everywhere else chasing your pain and wanting to feel good, like that is the main goal, and that's what people are just trying to do, is they're just telling you how they're going to make you feel good, and they're not bringing up function at all or looking for the source of the problem, right? This is why people stay sick. Why? Because they're in the vicious pattern, right? They keep chasing their symptoms, and they're not actually looking for the cause of the problem. And we don't have the definition of health, so we don't know if we're getting good health advice or not. And so this is the point of this video, right? So I always ask, if you come in here, everywhere else that you've been, they've chased your symptoms, trying to make that feel better. If we continue to chase the same symptoms, doing the same thing that everywhere, same method that everywhere else has done, expecting a different outcome, what is that the definition of? It's insanity. And that's why our practice is so successful. We have a lot of people is because we're very different. I'm going to be very upfront. I'm going to be very honest, because those are the conversations that I would want someone to have. The people that I've lost in my life, I would love for them to have someone like me, or someone that communicates openly to them and would have told them these things to give them an opportunity to choose health in their life, versus them just not knowing and having this information. And so we're not going to do the insane model, right? We're going to look for the cause of the problem. We understand the symptoms is the priority. You want to feel good. Great. Got it. I get that. But what we got to do is we got to find out what's causing that. And it's going to be a dysfunction. That's why you're going to see us do functional tests, things like range of motion. And then we'll do advanced X-ray imaging. We'll do digital motion X-rays if necessary. We'll look at X-rays. Right. They don't tell me how you feel. You can verbally communicate that to me, right? And we had another patient, we've talked to a few patients about this. They'll go, when things get bad, and it's fine, it happens, right? We have a slipped disc or something like that. And I understand that that's painful. I've had it happen to me too, right? But we've got to take a look. We can't keep doing the same stressors, right? Your body's got to have time to regenerate too if you want to heal it naturally. And we get to be responsible for being where we are in our health currently. Whether we had the information or not, right? There's no guilt and shame or judgment towards it. We are where we are, right? Trying to figure out how we got here can be important, but it's not as important as what we're going to do to fix it. And so when people get here, they're like, you go to the doctor and they spit out a Latin word at you, right? I have low back pain and it goes down my thigh. Oh, we're going to diagnose you with sciatica, or we're going to give you muscle relaxers, injections, and or surgery, right? But what nerve roots make up sciatica? Where's the source? Where's the trunk? Oh, it's peripheral. Well, how do you know it's peripheral? Did you look at the trunk too? Right? The same thing we look at for neuropathy. It could be peripheral neuropathy, but there's probably also a trunk problem in our experience of seeing that a lot. It's usually both, right? So why not look at both? Why not cover all of our bases so we can heal you as efficiently as possible, right? And this is the thing with those things. They'll spit out a Latin word, or they'll say you have things like spinal canal stenosis. They'll say neuroforaminal encroachment, right? They'll say these words, but they're just repeating the same thing that you've told them in Latin. That's it. You're telling them the answer. And so with that, and it doesn't make it right or wrong. We can have the Latin words. What I'm saying though, and then what are the three things that they do? Drugs, injection, surgery. Always comes back to those three, right? Oh, great. We're going to be conservative with our recommendations here. We're going to either drugs, injections, or surgery. And it's the same process, rinse and repeat over and over again. And then eventually people will get it that the medications start wearing off and the cause of the problem has not been fixed. That bill comes due at some point. When I say the cheapest it's going to be, the easiest it's ever going to be was yesterday. Today, right? The longer we go out, the harder it's going to be. And so coming back to my point of being responsible for our health, right? So we aren't going to chase symptoms, right? Those are the effect, not the cause. You hear me use this example all the time. Heart attack. Someone has a heart attack, right? If they walked into the ER and everyone in the ER is like, oh my gosh, they've got chest and arm pain. We've got to massage it, inject it, muscle relax it. We're gonna give a muscle relaxer. We're gonna rub it. We'd be like, what are you doing? It's clearly a heart attack, right? But we do the same thing with so many other things in our health: headaches, migraines, vertigo, dizziness, ringing acid reflux, ear infections, occipital neuritis, neuralgia. Or sorry, not neuritis. Occipital. We're seeing they call it occipital neuropathy now, but neuralgia, right? We're seeing these different things. Fibromyalgia, acid reflux, cramping after meals. We're even getting cycle problems, right? Cramping, right? Cramping is a symptom. And then we see things like incontinence. We're seeing things like sciatica, radiculopathy, going down to the nerves of the feet. We have a lady with drop foot. Like, we see all these different things, but it's bringing it back to the functional part of that. And for us, that is the spine. Why? Because it's fundamental. People that are the healthiest have the best functioning nervous system. It controls everything. And so if there's stress or pressure on that nervous system, we can remove it. No matter what you have going on, it's going to allow your body to start functioning better, which is going to allow you to feel better over time. Am I saying that chiropractic is the cure-all to that? I don't even say it's the cure. We don't cure anything. We facilitate health, right? We find the interference, the stress on the nervous system, and we remove it, allowing your body to function much, much better, raise the adaptive healing potential of the body. And that's why we get results with so many different things. And then, of course, there's other things in health, right? What we eat, nutrition, supplements, exercising. We have things like PMF in our office to stimulate more regeneration, right? To do it faster. So we have all these different tools, and to be well-rounded, you need that, but we've got to start somewhere. And the most fundamental thing is a properly functioning nervous system. It's like the breaker box, right? In your house. You can flip the breaker box on. You can go keep trying to make those appliances work without the breaker turned on. Eventually, you're going to have to flip that breaker on if you want that to function properly. So for us, that's why we go to that. So big thing I want us to take away there is if you're basing your health purely off how you feel, there's a bill coming due someday, because it's not the answer. Feeling great is not equal to health, right? Heart attack's another great example of that, right? Feel great, then they have a heart attack, and 50% of those are fatal, unfortunately, right? But the dysfunction was there long before that day ever came. Same thing, right? I use this example all the time. We've all met the person that one day threw their back out. They picked up a piece of paper and threw their back out. Is it because the piece of paper was so hard to pick up? No, it's because there was a dysfunction there. So how do we know that? We look at x-rays, imaging. We have diagnostic tools for that. And so for me, x-rays, pun intended, are black and white. It's not what I think. It's not what you think. This is where we're at. This is what we're seeing. This is a plan to fix that if you want to pursue it. Super easy, right? And that's why we take x-rays for our patients. We do progress x-rays. I take x-rays every 12 months on my spine. Why? I want to know. Why do you go to the dentist and they take your x-rays every 6 months? Do you think it's just because it's fun? No. Why? If they can not only see that your teeth are getting healthier, but if they see cavities or things starting to come up, now's the easiest time to fix it versus waiting years down the road to try to fix it, right? They know that. We know that as chiropractors. That's why we do the x-rays. Great if you're feeling great. If we look at your x-rays and see a problem coming up, do we want to fix it or wait until the symptoms show up? Much easier to fix it when you feel great than it is when you don't feel great. So these are the things, and you can hear my passion and excitement for it because it's so fun seeing people get this. And why I get stoked is because it's seeing people get their quality of life back. Like, it's the coolest thing ever. We have so many different amazing people that come into our practice, different business owners, different careers, different relational statuses, great husbands, great fathers, great mothers, right? We have teachers, we have masseuses, we have incredible people, horse people, dog people, like we have professional like musicians, we have college athletes, we have high school athletes, like we have all these variety of people, and it's so cool getting them to choose a life that they want to live, right? And this is why our name's Life Without Fear. Living a life without fear. When you know you're healthy, when you're confident in your health from a functional and how you feel combined, and your adaptive healing potential of your body, and you can go out there and live life, that's pretty freeing. And that is our top value in our practice. It's freedom. Why? Because I've seen people in my family, and we've seen it, right? People are the warning and example. Everyone has it in them, a little bit of both, right? And that's one of the things that we get. I don't want to be like my parents. That's why we have some people, that's one of their biggest fears. They don't want to be like their parents, right? Not just from a physical standpoint, right? That's all of us to some extent, but from a physical standpoint, it's like, I just don't want that quality of life. So they want to change, and they're looking for different options, right? And that is where the hereditary thing comes. You can change it. You can change your health for generations to come. How? Information, and then decisions, actions, right? Your health choices, your lifestyle choices, right? Eating fried food all the time is not going to lead you to true health. I'm not telling you not to. It's your choice, right? That's the beautiful thing about being human is you get choice. And so that's what gets me super excited. And we have our intake forms. We have progress exams. So we track all this stuff too. And the biggest thing, people come in and they usually have the symptom. That's what they want to solve. That's not really the thing that they're looking to solve. It's the quality of life, right? They want the neck pain. They want the headache. They want the migraine. They want the fibromyalgia. They want the leaky gut. They want the incontinence. They want the sciatica. They want the neuropathy. They want that gone. Yes, so they can feel better, but it's impacting their relationships, their job performance, their freedom, their time, their money, all of those things. And think about that for a second. When you're your healthiest, you're going to have a lot of great time, freedom, finances, relationships. Much easier to be full in on your relationships when you feel good versus when you don't. And how do you feel good? You function good, right? You can see how it goes hand in hand. I'm tying it together here. We want them all, right? Be selfish when it comes to your health. Let's have it all. And it takes time. That's the thing I always want to tell people. People are like, oh, I've been to a chiropractor before. And that's why we have in our new patient intake form. Well, have you had a 4-view motion x-ray study? Have you been adjusted with the integrator adjusting tool? If the answer is no, then you haven't used our method, right? I can't speak for the other chiropractor. I hope that they've done right by you. And it's probably still better than drugs and medication. I just know what we do and what results we get. And that's what I speak to. I'm not going to speak for anyone else, whether it's another chiropractor, another medical doctor. It's they are the outcome of their results. They are the product of their results, right? And so for us, results are always fair. So people are like, well, can you guarantee that I fix it? I can't guarantee it. No, that would make me a mind reader. That'd make me being able to predict the future, right? I say I'm a phenomenal chiropractor. I'm a shitty magician. Like I am. Right? I wish I could wave my hands over you and make it all go away. If I could do that, that'd be awesome. I always tell people I'd be in here on Mondays and I'd do that. I'd be out golfing, traveling the world, and just see people on Mondays and one and done. That would be sweet. Be the easiest way for both of us. It's not how the body works. There is no process in life that doesn't take time. So it does take time. That's why we have the x-rays, right? Because I can see how long the problem's been there, how severe it is. And we can lay out a plan. So I can give you the timeline up front of what I've seen. People with similar spine, similar conditions. This is what we can expect before you even get started. That way you know, right? And then for us, it's really cool to see people. We have people that have had problems for years that they feel better in like the first couple of months. That's pretty amazing. Some people it takes longer. And then the cool part is like, how do we never come back here? That's always the thing for us. That's why we have things called wellness care, right? How do we continue to regenerate tissue as your body feels good to make sure we never come back to where we started, right? That's going to be a great spot for us. And so you can see I'm very passionate about this. The reason I'm passionate about it is I see so many different people. I do all these things in our office. This is one of the things that we transition our office. I do all of our new patients. It's me, the doc, one-on-one. I'm going to be there. I'm going to look at your x-rays. I'm involved all the way front to back with every single case. I get to see the x-rays. I get to make the recommendations. It's not me and another doc. This is what we are. I have other radiologist stuff that I can always bring in on the case if it's something that I need support in or that I want to make sure I'm looking at it correctly. So we have that all around us. But for me, I'm going to be there front to back, right? The reason for that is it's going to get the best results. I'm there from the marketing too. This is the video that I'm creating. This is what you're seeing. So you get to see the education. You get to see our process. I'm going to be upfront with you. And then this is just what it's going to be. And people that don't want to take their health serious or want to blame other things are not going to be the right fit for our practice, right? It's okay to have, to be stuck at a place. It's okay and not know the answer. And same thing for me as a doc. If I don't know the answer, I'm going to be upfront about that. I don't know everything. I don't, but I know the body's amazing. It functions better when there's not stress on the nervous system. Your body's 37.2 trillion cells. A doc can't explain how that happens. So it's better that we work with the intelligence of the body than work against it by poisoning it with medications, drugs, and injections and putting metal plates and stuff in there if they're not necessary. And so that's the cool part. And that's why I have a lot of fun is I get to talk to people on the phones. I get to offer them insights. Same thing with health insurance. We see it all the time. If you have a health insurance lifestyle, then cool. If you want them dictating what type of lifestyle and quality of life that you have, cool. Right? People are like, I spend a lot of money on health insurance. Great. Right? It shouldn't be called health insurance because how do they get paid? Not by you being healthy. It should be called emergency or catastrophic insurance, which is great to have if those things happen. Right? And so for us, I always say the best surgeons in the world, you're going to go to them because they're the best surgeons. Same thing for us as chiropractors. Best chiropractors, they don't work in insurance. Why? Because they don't need to. And without getting too far into it of how bad the insurance process pays providers, right? Which takes it all off of patient-centered care because the health insurance model cuts our fees by 50 to 70% in order to be in network with them. So that's like you going to work for whatever your salary, your hourly, your wages are, and you're getting paid 50 to 70% less. You're doing the same job, right? Would you want that? No. And then what do we have to do as docs in order to make up for that? Oh, we have to see whatever the percentage is, up to 7 times more people to make up for that loss. Oh, which means what? Then we have to hire more team, which means what? Then we don't get to be involved in every case. Why? Because our time's stretched thin. Or to make up for that, we have to put you on a bunch of different machines and different things to make that per visit fee much higher, which still takes it away from the most important things that are going to heal you, and you're going to be there for an hour, right? So this is why we don't work with health insurance. We're just, these are our numbers. This is what it costs. This is what we do, and you're going to work directly with me, and that's exciting. And so we've got a lot of cool patients that are coming in. I'm super stoked for it, but it's been really cool having these conversations with people, and people get it. Like that's the exciting part. When people get it, they get it. And certain people don't, and that's okay. But for me, at least offering the insight, for me, usually the people that don't resonate with me, that's totally okay. It's usually because I scratch or rub at things that they don't want to. They don't want to be responsible for their health, and that's okay. That's your choice, right? But that's just not what our practice is about. One of my favorite quotes was by Dr. Fred Barge, great chiropractor. And he said, the metric of any successful doctor's office shouldn't be how many sick people are there. It's how many healthy people are there, right? And that's the truth, right? We have a lot of healthy people that come to our practice. Why? They get healthy, and then they want to stay healthy so they never go back to where they started, right? It's like going to a gym. Would you want to go to a gym where everyone's overweight, or would you like to go to a gym where everyone's fit, right? You're going to be a product of your environment. And so same thing for us is we have a wellness practice. Why? Because people want to stay healthy and not go back. And it's super exciting. I don't know. I just don't like that's the fun part. And I'm so excited just to share that with you guys and our patients that listen to this, that give us feedback. Like I'm so excited for you. Like I know how this has changed my life. I know I get to hear your story every day. Every time we get to talk, all the things that you're doing with your health and just amazing human beings that you are. And that's exciting for me. And I'm excited to continue to find more people. We're building something that's super epic for us and our brand. And being able to get out in every community, potentially in the United States, like being in every state, that's a great possibility. Taking over Lexington here, which is really cool. demand's going up, right? And so we've got a lot of opportunity to bring in some awesome docs, some awesome team members to really continue to just have and not at the cost of standard, right? We're always going to have high standards. That's the thing. That's a commitment for us, is we're going to have high standards. We're going to deliver on what we say we're going to deliver on. Why? Because that's important to me, right? I understand the currency is trust. And if I'm going somewhere too, I want to know that I'm going to get the results that I desire to get. Otherwise, it's a waste of both of our time, energy, and money. So super excited to continue to share this with you guys. I want to close out here again. Just a reminder, if you're not happy with where you are in your health, if you're stuck, you don't like your quality of life, you don't like your lifestyle, it's okay. This is, again, coming to responsibility. There's no point in guilting and shaming yourself. You are where you are. Going back in time is not really going to change anything. So give yourself some grace on that, and then really decide what you want your lifestyle to look like. What do you want your quality of life to look like? And what's your commitment to getting there? And so that's important. If you, right, most people, right, will say they're committed, and then when we lay out a plan, maybe not, right? So having the commitment and knowing what that looks like for you. What's your financial commitment to getting healthy? What's your time commitment to getting healthy? And, what's your energy commitment to getting healthy? And those should be answered. So if you're not happy with that, again, you can always check out our content. If you're in the Lexington area, definitely set up an appointment with us. But we're going to go into those things, those big things, making sure we know what health is, the body's ability to adapt to physical, chemical, emotional stress, and the body's ability to recognize itself in the environment. We need to know that definition. How can we actually raise your adaptive healing potential, making your body healthier over time, right? Being responsible for our health, right? And we'll help facilitate that for you. We'll give you all the tools. And then, you've got to do the work, just like going to the gym, right? I can't run on the treadmill for everyone. Everyone's got to get on there and do it themselves too, right? Knowing that you're not stuck with the majority of the stuff. 95% is within your control, which means we get a choice in it. And again, this is grace. I want to make sure people hear this. It's not to guilt and shame yourself for where you are. This is the common pattern or frequency that I see, is people often default into guilt or shame of, I can't believe I let myself get here, right? It is what it is. We all have it in different parts of our lives. Guilt and shame don't really serve us. So giving ourselves some grace, we are where we are. Let's look at what we can do to go where we want to go. Let's start there, right? Asking the question, why over time? Why am I here? Why am I there? Why did I do this? It's exhausting. It causes a downward spiral. If we ask the question, well, what am I going to do about it? What am I going to do with this? Right? Then we get to start that upward trajectory. And that's where life gets super exciting. So I appreciate you all. I'm super excited to just continue to grow with you guys. I know you guys have been a big part of my growth. Super excited to share that growth with you guys. Continue to educate our community, all the people on our socials and stuff too, of how we can be as healthy as we can. And for us, I believe we can all win, right? And that's the exciting part, is someone doesn't have to lose for us to win. We can all win together, sharing information, sharing resources. And there's a saying too that healing is in belonging. So creating a community around health, that's what really stokes me. When we have community, people that can support us when we're feeling down, people that are going through similar things, healing happens a lot faster that way. So very excited for you all to be a part of this. If you guys haven't already, hit that like and subscribe, and then I will see you all on the next video.